Hello, welcome back to our YouTube channel today. I'm thrilled to take you on a supernatural horror movie from 1997 called The Devil's Advocate. Spoilers ahead, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. The film follows a young Florida lawyer who's invited to New York City to work for a major firm headed by John Milton, while Kevin starts getting promoted to higher ranks due to his phenomenal skills. His wife Mary becomes haunted by frightening visions. Kevin's life takes a surprising turn when he realizes that his boss is not what he actually seems, but is in fact a devil in himself. The film starts in a courtroom where Kevin Lomax, an aspiring Florida defense lawyer, is seen listening to the prosecutor's claim against his client. Kevin is defending a schoolteacher, Lloyd Geddes, against the charge of some serious allegations from his students. And during the trial, Peace slowly realizes that his client is guilty when Kevin is asked by the judge to defend his client. He requests a short recess as he can't control his anger. Kevin has never lost a case in his entire career and is in a dilemma of what he must do to avoid breaking his unblemished string of victories while Kevin is in the washroom, or his reporter friend Larry enters and challenges him. That his string of victories is finally going to break and he's going to lose his first case. Listening to Larry's remarks, Kevin becomes even more determined to win the case whatsoever. In the courtroom, he tries to trick the victim, who's a teenage girl, Barbara, through a strict cross-examination. Barbara loses her confidence, leading Kevin to secure a non-guilty verdict. Later, he, along with his wife Marianne and other friends, celebrate the victory at a bar while celebrating a representative of New York City law firm. Mr. Heath approaches Kevin and asks him to assist a jury selection in New York City. At first, Kevin thinks that Heath is bluffing, but when Heath asks him to join from next week and details the perks of the job, Kevin's forced to think about it the next day. He goes to meet his fundamentalist mother Alice at a church and informs her that he's going to New York to select a jury. Alice thinks that this must be Mary's idea, as she is not a big fan of hers. But seeing Kevin's enthusiasm for it, she does not stop him. Kevin and Mary then fly to New York, where Kevin selects a jury for Heath's case, based on his instincts after the jury delivers a not guilty verdict. Kevin returns home and informs Mary about it, and the two of them jump with excitement. The next day, Kevin is summoned by John Milton, the head of the firm, called Milton Chadwick. And Waters, upon meeting John, Kevin is intimidated by his kindness and also a bit scared by John's direct interrogation regarding Geddes' case. John is impressed by Kevin's honesty and takes him to his breathtakingly gorgeous terrace, Woods, where he offers him a high-powered position at his firm. Kevin accepts, and he and his wife move to Manhattan, where they're given a beautiful apartment to live in. Heath and his wife Jackie live on the same floor and give Kevin and Mary a tour of the place. Mary is over the moon seeing the big, luxurious apartment. Despite Mary's excitement about the new place, Kevin double-checks her if she wishes to return to Florida. But Mary assures him that she wants to live in Manhattan and earn enough money to plan a baby. Kevin finally starts his new job at the firm and is introduced to the entire staff. Soon, Kevin starts spending most of his time at work neglecting his wife. He is assigned a health code case to defend a black man named Moves. While Kevin is busy working on the case, Mary has nothing else to do but paint her walls soon. She gets frustrated by her boring life, as she's always been a working lady, and befriends Jackie. Meanwhile, after spending days and nights on Muevez's case, Kevin finally wins it and is applauded by John for his outstanding performance. Later, Kevin and Mary are invited to the state's high-profile party. Mary is really nervous to go, but Kevin assures her that he will not leave her side. However, during the party, he's dragged away by his colleagues, leaving Mary alone with his colleagues. While seeing Mary without Kevin, John takes the opportunity to spend some time alone with her. He shows a keen interest in her hairstyle and persuades her to cut her hair. On the other hand, Kevin can't stop oogling his sexy co-worker Christabella. When he sees her standing on the terrace alone, he approaches her and tries to make conversation. Meanwhile, Mary starts looking for Kevin at the party, but before she could find him, John summons Kevin to his room along with Heath and the firm's managing director, Eddie. He informs them that their very old client, billionaire Alex Cullen, is charged with the murders of his wife, his stepson, and a maid, Eddie, who has been dealing with Alex's case in the past. Is pissed after John assigns the case to Kevin. Kevin spends some time understanding the case and later returns home only to find his wife boiling with anger because Kevin bailed on her the next day after Alex is out on bail. He lashes out at John for taking his case lightly. John assures him that Kevin is the best lawyer in town that he can possibly get, convincing Alex to accept Kevin as his representative. Alex warns Kevin that he has to prove to be as good as John has portrayed him. Meanwhile, Mary gets a haircut as suggested by John and spends time with Jackie shopping, while Jackie is trying on a dress in the changing room, begins seeing visions of Jackie becoming demonic. Petrified, Mary flees from the store, leaving Jackie and Eddie's wife Diana alone later. She burst onto Kevin like a volcano when he refuses to believe in her visions. He tries to make Mary understand that it is her abrupt change of hairstyle, change of environment, and new friends that are making her hallucinate abnormal things, making Mary even more furious. She asks Kevin to return back to Florida as he barely has any time for her, and tells him that they can suffice with a low salary. Kevin realizes that Mary has been feeling lonely and decides to plan a baby later. Proceedings for the triple murder trial case begin, and Kevin starts spending most of his time on it, further isolating Mary. Soon, Kevin's mother Alice visits New York City. While entering Kevin's apartment, she runs into John while Alice gets a weird vibe from John. Mary suspects that Kevin is into Christabella, which is why he's come home late the next day. Alice informs Kevin that she's going back. She asks Kevin to look after Mary as she does not seem fine and suggests that they both return to Florida. But Kevin straightaway refuses. Later at the office, he meets Alex's assistant and is happy to know that he has found a solid alibi for the case. Before heading home, John stops Kevin and insists on taking him to a wrestling match on the subway. He messes with a stranger, and when the stranger threatens to hurt him with a knife, John surprises him by revealing to him his family secrets. Leaving Kevin flabbergasted. Later, the two of them enjoy watching the match. When Mary calls Kevin asking him to return home, he shuts her off by saying that he can't say no to his boss and returns to enjoying his night. That night, while Mary is home alone, she has a nightmare about a baby playing with her removed ovaries. When Kevin returns home, she elucidates the matter to him. Kevin keeps assuring her that it was just a dream, but Mary is bent on believing that it is true. Since then, she reveals to Kevin that a doctor has diagnosed her with nonspecific ovarian failure and declared her infertile. She starts fearing that Kevin is going to leave her, and the frightening experiences begin to warp her sense of reality. So Kevin consoles her. Just then, Kevin finds out that Alex has been having an affair with his secretary, Melissa Black, so he rushes to meet him. He confronts Alex about it, who tells him that he was with Melissa on the day his wife was murdered. Later, upon discovering that Mary is sick, John suggests Kevin step down from the trial to look after his wife. But Kevin refuses to let go of the case as he fears he will start hating Mary for costing him the case on the trial day. Kevin plays smart in front of the jury, portraying Alex as the most corrupt man. However, he tries to make the jury believe that despite being corrupt, Alex is not a murderer. The next day, Kevin runs into Eddie on the street, who's pissed at Kevin for competing for his job after he discovered Kevin's name on the firm's charter. Kevin is clueless about the situation and denies any knowledge of this. However, Eddie is convinced that Kevin is after his job and threatens to inform the United States Attorney's Office of the firm's illegal activities. Furious, Kevin relays the situation to John and informs him about Eddie's threats. John calls his assistant, asking him to summon Eddie to the office. Meanwhile, Eddie is seen jogging in a park where he's beaten to death by vagrants with demonic appearances. Sent by John later while preparing Melissa to testify about Alex's alibi, Kevin realizes that she's lying. He loses his cool and exits the room, only to find that Eddie has died while leaving for the trial. Kevin informs John that Alex has set him up and that he believes Alex is guilty. However, Kevin can't afford to lose, so he decides to play along as it is. The trial begins, and after calling Melissa on the stand, he proves Alex not guilty through Melissa's fabricated testimony. After the trial, Kevin is informed about Mary's miserable condition, so he races to the church only to find Mary covered with a blanket and claiming that John assaulted her when Kevin asked her when this happened. She tells him that she got assaulted the entire afternoon. Kevin refuses to believe it, since John was with him in court all afternoon. Mary tries to assure Kevin that she's not lying and removes her blanket to show Kevin her body brutalized with cuts and scratches. Kevin assumes that Mary has gone crazy and injured herself, so he admits her to a mental hospital while seeing her off. Mary tells Kevin that it is the blood money they took from the guilty which is causing them problems. She begs Kevin to take her back to Florida and tries to assure him that she's not crazy, but to no avail. Later at Eddie's funeral, Kevin sees visions of Geddes and Alex and immediately leaves the church outside the church. He meets a U.S. Department agent who has been investigating John and his firm. He offers to help Kevin and warns him that John is corrupt. Kevin refuses to listen to him and keeps walking away, adamant to help. The agent tells Kevin that the body of a 10-year-old girl was found in Geddes' car, for which he has been arrested. Just then, the agent is struck by a car and killed. Later, Kevin visits Mary only to find his mother Alice and his case manager Palm at the hospital. Seeing Mary's miserable condition, Alice takes Kevin outside the room and decides to tell him the truth about his father. Kevin lashes out at her for choosing the worst timing to reveal the truth that she's kept from him for 30 years. Just then, Mary sees visions of Pam becoming demonic, and so she attacks her with a hand mirror. Hearing Pam screams, Kevin rushes to the room only to find that Mary has blocked it with a chair. Kevin begs Mary to open the door, and before he could break in, Mary kills herself by slitting her throat with a shard of mirror. Kevin laments her death and then goes to Alice and asks her to complete the story. Alice reveals that John is Kevin's father, whom she met in New York in 1966. She apologizes to Kevin for not telling him the truth the day she met John in his apartment, as she didn't want to break Kevin's heart, who's been thinking that he achieved so much based on his capability. She begs Kevin to leave everything and come back to Florida, but Kevin dismisses her request as Kevin leaves the hospital. He's surprised to see the empty streets. He then goes straight to meet John and confronts him about Mary. When John admits that he assaulted Mary, Kevin shoots him multiple times, but the bullets pass straight through him. Kevin is shocked, and when John reveals that he is Satan, Kevin realizes that Mary understood this from the start, which is why John killed her. Kevin blames John for everything, but John reminds him that he had a choice to leave, making Kevin realize that he always wanted to win. No matter what John then says, vanity is definitely my favorite sin, and then introduces Kevin to his half-sister Christabella, claiming to be a humanist. John reveals that he wants Kevin and Christabella to take over the firm, and also wants to start a family, for which he wants Kevin and Christabella to conceive the Antichrist. At first, Kevin agrees to it and starts to negotiate with John. Christabella can't wait for Kevin to lay on her, so she drops her clothes, attracting Kevin to herself. Kevin reciprocates, but then all of a sudden shoots himself in the head. John's rage erupts like a volcano, setting the entire room on fire before burning to death. He transforms into his demonic form, turning into a white angel who resembles Kevin. The scene cuts back to when Kevin is at the recess of Geddes' trial. He returns to the courtroom and, seeing Mary in the audience, kisses her tightly, knowing that Geddes is guilty. Kevin announces that he cannot represent his client despite the threat of disbarment. When Mary asks Kevin what he just did, he answers by saying that he did the right thing. Outside the courtroom, Larry offers Kevin an exclusive interview that will portray him as a star and make him famous. At first, Kevin hesitates, but after Mary motivates him to do it, he agrees. The film ends with Larry transforming into John and saying, "Vanity, definitely my favorite sin." Did you like our movie recap? Subscribe and comment if you like our video. See you next time.